I think Linnell spoke to David White at Kripalu, and this is called the sacred pause. The sacred pause, and it's really funny because neurologically they're talking about how a 6 minute pause can totally reset your vagus nerve. Well, this is nothing new. This some spiritual teachers have been teaching forever. When you find yourself stressed, when you find yourself in that fight or flight mode, to notice it. So part of the reason we meditate is to have that body awareness that I'm pressing, my breathing's changed, my focus is on problems, I'm struggling, I'm not moving through my life with ease. And what do? We take the sacred pause. And you remember we just did a couple of weeks ago meditation on learning to allow things to be enough. That voluntary simplicity, that learning to let go of the greed, that voice that's always wanting more than is in this moment, and learning to settle and stop and say, I have enough, I've done enough, I am enough, and let yourself settle into contentment with this moment. So today we're going to be talking about beginner mind and present moment awareness. Enough. These few words are enough. And if not these words, this breath. And if not this breath, this sitting here, this opening to the life we have refused again and again until now. Until now. So again, so many clues embedded in a poem, the enough, the awareness of breath, the feeling of being closed off to life, the resistance and that softening. I had an image this week that occurred to me with a client that we can immerse ourselves in all this beautiful energy, but if we're like a stone, it doesn't do us much good at all. And we need to learn to soften, to be like sponges. So part of meditation is stopping that resistance, that war with life, and allowing it to penetrate and to fill us up. And then we'll know that this moment is enough. I found this, which I thought was interesting. Oh, great. My phone again is betraying me. Had it all set up to read, and it just... Zen Buddhists discovered a state of mind that predicts whether a person will change or stay stuck. This state is more reliable than intelligence, effort, or years of therapy. Western psychology study didn't call it the most overlooked variable in human transformation. And the people who need it most are almost always the ones who have done the most work on themselves. And I think I'm talking to you all right now.
No.
The concept is Shoshin, the Japanese Buddhist word, two characters, Sho meaning beginner, and Shin meaning mind, the beginner mind. It was introduced in the West by Zen master Suzuki in 1970. It was Alan Watts who was responsible for bringing Suzuki to America. He said, in the beginner mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Shoshin is not ignorance. It is not the pretense that you know nothing. It's not the performance of humility. It's not starting over again at zero. It is something much more precise. It's the willingness to approach what you think you already know as if you are encountering it for the first time, with curiosity instead of certainty. And I want you to hear these words because they're aspects of what you're experiencing when you're in the ventral vagal. So curiosity is one of the aspects of ventral vagal. So we act our way into a new state of mind. So by beginning with that curiosity, you're trying to link your mind back up with how you are when you are ventral, with an openness instead of a conclusion. Again, that openness is an aspect of ventral vagal, with a question instead of an answer. Western psychology spent decades studying why some people change in therapy and why others don't. The variables they expected to matter did not predict outcomes reliably. Not intelligence, not motivation, not severity of presenting the issue, not years in treatment. And I'm telling this to all you therapists out there, Yulia, at the beginning. The variable that predicts outcomes most consistently was one no one expected. It was the degree to which the person approached their own experience with genuine curiosity rather than with pre-existing conclusions. The person who arrives in therapy already knowing why they are the way they are almost never changes as much as the person who arrives genuinely not knowing. Not because the self-knowledge is wrong, but because the self-knowledge held as certainty closes the door to the experience that would update it. The expert mind sees only what it already knows. The beginner mind sees what's already there. This is the emperor has no clothes story. Kid says, dude's naked. All the experience-wise people say he's got clothes on. Kid knows, dude is naked. Most people who've done significant self-work carry a comprehensive map of their own psychology. I'm anxiously attached. My wound is abandonment. My pattern is people-pleasing. My inner child is afraid. All of it's accurate. All of it hard-won. All of it the product of genuine effort and insight. And all of it functioning as a filter through which every new experience is immediately categorized and filed rather than genuinely felt. The map has become the territory. The understanding of the pattern has replaced the direct experience of what's happening. The person is no longer encountering their experience, they are narrating it. And a narrated experience cannot be changed by the narrator. Suzuki's most important teaching: in the beginner's mind, there is no thought that I have attained something. The expert is always measuring new experience against what they already know. The beginner is always encountering what is actually here. These are not the same activity, and only one of them produces genuine transformation. Research on therapeutic outcomes at Stanford confirmed what Zen masters always taught. Patients who demonstrated what researchers called epistemic humility rather than genuine uncertainty about their own inner workings showed significantly faster and more lasting change than those who had arrived with comprehensive self-narratives. Not because self-narratives are wrong, because certainty closes the nervous system to new information, and a closed nervous system is not precise, cannot update. The practice is precise. Before any self-reflection, before any journaling, before any meditation or therapy session, spend time writing down what you already believe to be true about what you're about to explore. Your patterns, your wounds, your conclusion about yourself, write them down and then set the paper aside and approach the practice as if none of it is certain, as if you're encountering your own inner experience for the first time, with genuine curiosity about what's actually right there, right now, in this moment. A very good reminder, especially for those of us who've been at this for decades, that it becomes stale. And Father Kennedy will walk into the room, and you've heard this before, and go, there will be no self-seeking. There will be no intense introspection. There will be no spiritual refinement. Just sit. Just sit. So how do we sit? We've got some newcomers, so I thought it'd be good to go back to the master, Jack Cornfield. When we first undertake the art of meditation, it's indeed frustrating. Inevitably, as our mind wanders and our body feels the tension it's accumulated, the speed to which it's addicted, we often see how little inner discipline, patience, or compassion we actually have. It doesn't take much time with the spiritual task to see how scattered and unsteady our attention remains, even when we try to direct and focus it. This is the most important thing. While we usually think of it as our mind, if we look honestly, we see the mind follows its own nature. And this is being over and over again reinforced by neuroscience. Your brain is thinking thoughts you don't intend. You are repeating patterns over and over and over again, and the voices you run in your head are rewiring everything every day. If you keep repeating the same things in your head, you're going to be the same person. What you're repeating is what you're hardwiring. So creating that pause to let that particular neural pathway begin to extinguish begins to open you to having a new experience. But if we can't see that process, if we can't stand outside of it, if we haven't got that witness consciousness that enables us to see that inner dialogue, that inner judge, that persistent pattern of resistance to certain things, that chasing after other things, if those are just something that we label but never explore, how does that feel in my body? How does that thought impact me? If we don't have that awareness, we're not really going to change. We may sit there, we may analyze it, we may sit and say, I did that, and all of that's very good. But until we really stand outside of it and just let it pass freely, without resistance or attachment or judgment, it's going to continue. We must gradually discover a wise relationship to the mind that connects it to the body and the heart. See the thoughts connection to the emotions connection to the body. How is all of this unfolding in real time? The essence of this connecting is bringing ourselves back to our bodies again and again and again. All these things, prayer, meditation, give us a systematic way to focus and concentrate. They return us to the task at hand. For some, the task of coming back 1,000 or 10,000 times in meditation to the breath may seem boring or even of questionable importance. But how many times have we gone away from the reality of our life? As David White said, how many times have we refused it? And isn't it time that we stop and greet it and invite it in and embrace it and explore it with our full attention? St. Francis de Sales said, bring yourself back to the present moment quite gently. And even if you do nothing during the whole of your hour, bring your awareness back 1,000 times. Even though it goes away every time you brought it back, your hour would be well employed. How can we say that? Because what we're learning is to come back, to quit letting our mind carry us away. We're learning to actually control the meta program instead of being carried away by it. And that is your freedom. That's what Sharon Salzberg says. Every time in your meditation, when you bring your breath, when you bring your awareness back to the present moment, that is enlightenment. It's not something different from enlightenment. Enlightenment is that constant choice to choose the present moment over whatever your mind is telling you is true. Mm-hmm. So, what have you got?
The healing is in the return.
Okay, so
this was her post this morning, which is exactly what you're saying from Sharon Salzberg. She was in an interview, and the person said, one of the things that I've heard you say across the years, and I think I've never taken it in so gratefully, and it has never been so helpful before, the healing is in the return, not in not getting lost, which could be a goal in meditation. Right. Not getting lost in the beginning. But it's such a relief and liberation to hear that the healing is in the return. And she says, well, I think it's powerful because I actually think it's true. When I started meditation, I had a different idea of success. And what it would look like, and that it would be very much about accumulation. Like if I could be with 2 or 3 breaths in the beginning without my mind wandering, and then the next day maybe more breaths, and then with 8, and then tomorrow I should be with 15, and then eventually my mind won't wander. And I found that the most unbelievable thing, that wasn't the point. That learning how to let go more gracefully, which is what you just said, was the point. Learning how to start over with some compassion for yourself instead of judging yourself so harshly. So, because it really is the lesson, it's 101 for me. The healing is in the return.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
So we've got 2 teachings going on. Whichever one appeals to you the most, apply it while we begin our meditation. So you can either do one of approaching what you're experiencing with an attitude of curiosity and openness to exploring it, as if you've never had this experience before, because you haven't. My favorite teacher is Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti said, everything you learned yesterday is totally worthless today, because today is fresh. And so this idea that I'm accumulating wisdom about learning to live my life is a fallacy, because you know nothing about what's going to happen next. And whatever you think you know is going to cloud you and block you from experiencing what's actually going on. So see if you can experience it with some freshness. If you find yourself drifting off, again, come back, but do it with compassion and lightness. I can give you one other little thing. When I went to the gym, there were people who used to complain to their trainer, oh, I don't want to do legs today, or, oh, I don't feel like doing bench presses today. And I would go, stop whining. There's no whining in the gym. It's a privilege to be here with all this elaborate equipment in the air conditioning, to have the time, to have a trained person with you, and you're turning it into a miserable experience for me. I want to enjoy the pleasure, and if you need to shut the fuck up. So, of course, that's not what I actually said, but that's the dialogue that was going on in my mind that I had to set aside. So this is an honor to sit on your cushion. What a privilege to have the opportunity to do this exploration of inner space and freedom and return to childlike wonder with this community. Look at all these beautiful people that we're with this morning. So enjoy. letting your awareness come to the breath. And yourself open and explore sensations of breathing. As if you'd never taken a breath before. For the beginners, just staying with the sensations at the nostrils. For those of you more advanced, perhaps going deeper, watching how difficult it is to watch the breath without wanting to control it or comment on it. To allow it to breathe itself without thinking I'm allowing it to breathe itself. Allowing the monkey mind to rest, nothing to improve, nothing to fix, nothing to understand. Landing in this moment with awareness. Let go of the idea of discipline. Exploring the richness of each passing moment. Allowing it to be enough. Just taking a moment to note where you are without criticism. Beginning again. Pausing again, where are you now? What was the thought you were thinking? Have you thought that thought before? What was that thought doing to your body? What was that emotion doing? Exploring where you were, noting how coming back to the breath back to the present moment affects that body-mind state. See the truth of the transition. When the gong sounds, notice the impact that it has on your meditation. Trungpa said, the only time you really meditate is when you hear the gong. See why he says that. I can't tell if you're doing mudras, Robert, or whether you're trying to speak.
There must be something in us that is composed largely of metal because the metallophone, the gong, resonates with us. And we can't quite follow it through our body cavities and so forth, but we know that it's penetrating in this lovely way through our corpus. So, where the mystery of the resonance of metal in the exterior world and the interior world.
Exactly.
Mm.
So what I've started doing is thinking about that as nourishment. All right. That nourishment is not simply food, that it's any vibrational energy that we receive. And to feel its impact, to receive it as a gift, as energy. How does it impact me? Where does it resonate? Where are the dissonances? Um, that's good awareness. And
And
that
tuning forks have become a big,
big deal, and sound baths and all that stuff, seeing more and more about how those vibrational energies heal us and put us back in, or put us in a state where healing can happen, maximizes the potential for healing. A more careful way of saying it. Okay, questions, comments? Hansa, how are you doing? I tried to call you a couple times. I don't, did you get my calls?
I received one call and and yeah, and I'm doing much better. I'm up and around and quote unquote being as active as I can be and getting stronger every day.
Good,
love
glad to
that.
hear it.
Good report.
Well, we've had you in our thoughts and prayers. I'm glad to hear the good
Thank
news.
you. I was going to try to call you, but sometimes my voice is so weak.
Earl, you don't have to explain. I just needed reassurance you were okay. That was the only purpose of the call.
Well, but kind of tying this back in is uh, I found the meditation today a challenge just because of being in my body right now. And um, and I almost felt like I needed to own the space around my body and let the body receive that vibration, which goes back into what Robert was saying about the metallic aspect of it too. There's a part of our body that resonates with so much, and and how to and so my focus was usually I try to just kind of drop in, and I was thinking of that thought about receiving. Um, it's when you come back in the what you were saying, it's when you come back home. And so how do I stay home? But I didn't want to be in this body right now. I wanted to be in the space around it. And I had to give myself permission to um, like just be in that vibratory quality of self rather than in the present moment. Because to me, the vibratory quality isn't quite a present moment.
No, it is.
It is, and it's yeah, but it doesn't have time bound. My body has a time boundness. The vibrational body, at least this is what I was playing with, is the vibrational body doesn't have a time boundness. It's present.
It's eternal.
Yeah,
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 because it has no beginning, no end. It's a flow.
yeah.
And I love that awareness. Now, we came across a quote from Wendell Berry. Do
Oh
you have that?
man, it's my new favorite thing. I get to read it.
And this may,
Okay. Yeah. I believe that the community, in the fullest sense, a place and all its creatures, is the smallest unit of health. And that to speak of the health of an isolated individual is a contradiction in terms.
Okay, so the reason that came to mind, Hansa, is that your real body is the universe. And you know that. And so what you were doing was letting go of this identification with this physical density and expanding back out into your true body. So, and I know you know the wisdom of what you were doing. So it's great to remind us.
I think being part of going through health issues is to help us detach and recognize and be able to live in that spaciousness of who we really are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what Ram Dass taught. He said the older we get, the less we identify with this dense physical body, and the more we begin to identify with the larger self. And that prepares us for the transition back into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so the discomfort we're experiencing physically is almost a blessing because it's an invitation to let go of that and move into a place that's a lot more spacious and comfortable.
That's amazing. That is really comforting and beautiful. I love that. I really, really do, because I feel that happening with myself in many aspects of my life. Love that.
So again, Ram Dass explores that in his book, Still Here. So one of his first books was Be Here Now. And after he had a stroke and he couldn't walk, and he had aphasia and trouble speaking, but he does a
Still
lot. I'll just share one of my favorite stories. So he has this family he lived with when he was in India, and he went back to visit the man, greeted him at the airport, said, "Oh, Ram Dass, you're looking so old." And Ram Dass, who was very vain and took offense at that. He was deeply offended. And then he said he realized that in India, saying you look old means you're starting to look like you know some shit. Maybe you're old enough to know something. So I love that. Thank you, Hansa. I'm glad you're doing better.
It feels like we know what's true in the beginning and near the end, and we forget in between.
Many people had that observation.
Well,
I did.
one of the things that I'm finding is as I'm doing PT to get more flexibility in my hip and my knees, that I'm beginning to realize the wonders of the body.
Hmm.
I'm beginning to be able to identify, uh, you know, from a couple days ago that I now have movement where I didn't have it, and seeing just the wonder. And one of the things I keep thinking of is it's amazing how we learn to walk.
I know. It's a controlled fall. Mechanically, that's what they call it, a controlled fall.
I wanted to just say that, well, thank you, first of all, for being here every week for us. And
I thought y'all showed up for me. Oh shit, I got it wrong.
no, you're here for me. But I really liked it was very helpful what Nell read about the healing is coming when you come back to the present moment. That was that was very helpful. And so I thought about that every time my brain would float off. And I probably went off maybe 15, 20 times, but I didn't give myself shit, when I couldn't, when I couldn't.
Ah, love that.
Yep. Think we lost you, Beth.
She
Oh, no.
muted. There she
There.
is.
Sorry. What was the last thing I said? Shit. Anyway, that was very helpful. It helped me come back with compassion and not give myself shit about, floating off. And it was much, much more pleasant. And also, I don't know if we do this on here, but in relation to the Wendell Berry reading that you read and that Bart read to me yesterday about we're one with, everything in the universe. And I'm really passionate about animals and creatures, and I don't kill a bug. I capture it and take it outside. So if anybody would like to watch a movie that ties into that, what is it? Oh my God. Remarkably.
Oh, intelligent creatures.
Have y'all seen it?
Yeah, remarkably bright creatures.
Yeah. Remarkable.
God, Remarkably Bright.
Right.
The book is
That-
amazing. I haven't seen the movie, but the book is amazing.
Sally,
Yeah.
the book is a little more in depth, but the movie's very
great.
well done.
It is beautiful, every bit of it, and it helped me anyway. So I thought about what you read when I watched that. So thank you. That's it.
But I want to just coattail for a minute on what you said. Watch the difference. Again, this is the whole secret to equanimity. You're having this experience where you bring yourself back. The judgmental mind says, I went away. I did it wrong. The observing sign goes, I'm back. What a blessing. Okay. Both are true. Okay. But again, what do you see? What do you emphasize? So one of the things I got into a discussion yesterday about us living in a projected reality. And of course, the metaphysical movement is all about, oh, wow, you can totally change everything in your world. And I can manifest myself a Mercedes Benz. That's not what it means. What it means is that your brain is filtering your reality so that there's stuff out there that you literally can't see because you're stuck in the storyline that your mind creates. So the liberation is liberation from the story, the fiction that we create, that our brain generates and projects from moment to moment. So it's not that I'm altering reality, it's that I'm unblocking the filters, which is what hallucinogens do. Hallucinogens strip the filters off, then all of a sudden the full rush of what's out there begins. And we can do that on our own by deconstructing that as you sit, as we undo these things. So when the brain only sees danger because I'm in fight or flight, that's the only reality I live in. There's all kinds of opportunity, all kinds of things to be hopeful for. I literally will not see them. I will not. It's like Linnell and I'll get into a fight and I'll go, well, you never blah, blah, blah. And then I look at that statement and say, that's not true. She does do that, but the fiction in my head says that she doesn't. You see what I'm saying? So when I begin to become curious and say, is that true? Is that really true? I suddenly notice there's a lot more going on. My mind hasn't caught up yet. And it's important to do that updating. Tommy.
If I may offer something regarding insects, when ants or roaches or flies make the error of coming inside my house, I don't bother them outside. That's my deal. When they come in the house, I have to kill them. Make a prayer. May your next life be full of abundance, prosperity, and happiness.
Oh, thank you for that.
Bruce's wife,
You
Yeah.
know,
Good.
sometimes we get so lost, and I do. I feel like the vines are growing all around me, and I'm constantly cutting those vines, so to speak. You know, to return, to
Yeah.
return. Sometimes it's just harder than others. Some days are just tougher, and then you just say, "Well, some days are just tougher." You know. I
And
don't know if that makes any sense, but but I just had to say it.
well, that's the other thing I debated about doing today that I'm going to do next week is that the resistance, the obstacles. How do you approach obstacles in your meditation? And the point is that we know that when you're experiencing an obstacle, and those of you going through physical therapy need to know this, we'll explore more next week. That's the time you're growing in terms of your brain. So it means that you don't have neural pathways for that yet. And so it feels weird. You feel the resistance. You feel want to succumb to that temptation to feel futility about it. But that's precisely the moment you're making the most progress. So we really need to flip our thinking a lot of times and go, God, I'm struggling. I'm really growing. This is really doing a lot for me. Then you got to watch overachieving. But staying, and I used to sign all my letters in the church, yours in the joyous struggle. And it came from a quote from Stephen Douglas. Um, he said, power never did concede anything without a struggle. Never did, it never will. Said there are people who want the ocean without the roar, they want rain without the thunder. He said, find the limit of what people will tolerate, and you found the limits of tyrants. And it's the same way with yourself. Find where you limit yourself. Where do you say enough is enough? That's your limit. That's what you've consigned yourself to. So the struggle is actually breaking out of the physical change, the stuck fascia in your body, the frozen joints, the tight muscles. It's breaking free of the emotional shoulds and shouldn'ts and conditioned traumas of avoidance. It's letting go of the ideas that are fixed and waking up into the wonder of life again. And
You know,
that,
and in midst of my struggle, sorry to interrupt, something I want to say. In midst of my struggle, I can see, my broken skin from working in the yard, and it looks horrible. And then 5 days later, it heals. So I can see that grace. I can see that the incredible power that's above my control. I can see that, but like I say, I really today I guess I just struggling.
that's fine. So be in the struggle. I'm just saying, yeah.
One of the
I
things that this also is the body, and in a way, I believe is the body is the silent communicator of the spirit. So when there's a point of quote unquote physical struggle, I go in and look at the psychosomatics of it and look at where my mind is limited that belief and my body's holding it, because every part of our body is associated. Like right now I'm having a problem with like the left side. Well, the left side is about creative energy, and I've limited myself in some of my creative energies, and that's one of the things I'm working at opening myself up to. And so, like you said, the struggle of being able to first of all recognize it, but then second of all, because it's in my hip, because it's how I'm digesting life, how do I let go of some things so I can digest my life and step forward in a whole new way? Because I think the best is yet to come. And again, it's going back and expanding into that energy field that the mind can't grok. And,
Mhm.
You
and
just showed your age.
Beautiful.
Wonder how many,
I
uh,
just wanted to reflect back on the vibrational energy because uh, a few weeks ago we went to the first time I've been to a sound bath that was a real, you know, in real intense crystal bowl sound bath. And I want to tell you that that energy came into my body like my body itself
Mm-hmm.
was ringing like those bowls. I mean, that's how it actually felt. It felt like that vibrational energy just welled up from within my own body. It was amazing.
Okay.
Mm.
So y'all are waking up to that if the more permeable you become and the softer you become, the more all those energies out there, the plants, the sunlight, the water, the earth are going to ring your body.
Divine.
Yeah.
It's going to set your body resonating. And the point of talking about Barry's thing is he's literally saying, if you want to be healthy, you can't sit in your room. You've got to be around people. You've got to be around nature. You've got to
Yes.
back into the matrix that's your true body. So the reason that I'm
The
hurting
community is
is your body.
the
So
body.
think about what struggle means. Again, struggle means here is a force moving this direction, here's a force moving this direction. This is what frozen means. Frozen is right here. The only thing we have control over is stop the resistance, stop the struggle, soften, let it come. You don't need to understand what's coming. Just let whatever energy is stuck come. Release it as energy, not thought, not emotion, no action required. Just let the energy flow
Not
through you.
wrong.
Not right, not wrong, not good, not bad, just is. Just energy that wants to move. So get out, let's vibrate. Let's sing our ohms out to the universe. Give back all the peace that we've received.
Yeah. Deep breath in.
Wow.
Wow.
Love you all.
Wow, wow.
Love you more.
Thank you all so much.
This
So
was
grateful
great.
for
Thank you
all of
so
you.
much. All
Thank
of you.
Have
you,
a great weekend,
everybody.
Love you
everybody.
guys.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Drew, I'll call
Keep
you
going,
this weekend.
Linnell.
Girl.
Thank you, Bart and
Bye.
Linnell.
Have a great week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
you.